Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Zara and we are on the Living Worldwide marriage series. Today's episode is all about the second marriages and the different phases of the second marriages. Let's start with Sister Shanaz.
Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers and listeners. Alhamdulillah, the topic of second marriages, it's quite a vast topic. And the second marriages that we are discussing is not a man having two wives. That's a totally different topic, so that's a topic for another day. The second marriage that we are speaking about is people who have been married and for some reason they have divorced and now they are looking to remarry. So these second marriages, they come in many categories. So the first one would be two young people, maybe in their teens or 20s, who have been married, got divorced, and are looking to remarry. So looking for a second marriage. It could be a person of more mature years who has a child and is looking to remarry, and they could their marriage with someone who's had a previous marriage, so they're both divorced. They're both of them. It's their second marriage. Or it could mean that one is divorced, and for one partner, it is their second marriage, but for the other partner, it is still their first marriage. So and then we have the more mature people who are maybe in their 50s or 60s. They have lived a very full and active life. They have children, both sides have children, and their partners have either passed away or they have divorced, and they are looking to get married. So it's three different types of second marriages that we speak about. Now, for the first one, for the young people who are in their 20s, teens or 20s, they marry, it's not worked out, and they're looking to remarry. Now, one of the questions that we have from people, let's say I'm looking for someone and she's in her 20s, let's say she's 23 or 24, and I've seen a person that I think is going to be a good match for her, and he's about 29. And as soon as I approach the mother, she will say, "Oh, why did she get divorced?" Now, there is no answer to why do people get divorced, because the thing is, it's Qadar Allah. It's happened because it was written in their Qismat. So, why did this happen to, why do things happen? Why did you have two boys and six girls? Why did you come to this country to live? All of this is a plan of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made your decree different to this person's decree, this young person's. Now, what we're asking you is, do you think this girl is suitable for your son? Now, no matter how religious and pious we are, no, she's not, because she's divorced and my son is not. So we have this real tug going on between our communities, where people just think that someone that's been divorced is probably not going to be a good partner for their so-called pious child who has not been married. Now, this isn't necessarily the case. Just because someone's been through a tough patch doesn't mean that they are not suitable. It just means that they've had a different life. They've been through different things. We've all been through hardships of different kinds, and this person's hardship was, or this person's trial was in their marriage. So it's a matter of finding someone like that, a partner, second time round. Now, there are times when if we flip the chart over, if it's a young lad, if it's a boy, if it's a man who's in his 20s and he's looking to remarry, then it's, oh yes, there are questions, there are difficulties, but it is slightly easier. Now, if they both have children, then that makes it difficult. Like if he had children and the young lady doesn't, the parents will also always say, "Oh, but he's got children," even though these children probably do not live with him. And with the young lady, it's always the same as well. Like if she's got a child, and obviously she's young herself as well, and she has a child too, so that makes it a bit more challenging to find her something. Now, then we move on to people who are more mature, who feel. Actually, before we move on to the more mature people, I just wanted to sort of like mention again with regards to second marriages for young people. Now, just because somebody is young, it doesn't mean that, oh, but why did they get married when they were so young? They got married because at the time it just seemed like the right thing to do. A rishta came along, it seemed appropriate, so they got married, and then they found that they couldn't live together, so they decided to part. Now, no one can turn around and say, oh, but you shouldn't have got divorced, because only the person who's got divorced knows their reasons for getting divorced. And it's not just you don't wake up one day and decide, oh, I think I'll get divorced. There's lots of little things that build up to this. And it could be that the boy and the girl are trying their best to get along with each other, but it's families that sometimes they have issues with each other. And because the children are still naive, they can't see that they're being manipulated by the families, that they fall into that they become a target for both of the families. And then everyone else is going to say, but we let it be, we just let them live together. Oh, but it was just him and her. In our community, it's not always him and her. It's not plain cut like that. They probably could have made it work, but because of other people's influence, the desired effect that other people had, it actually took place. So it's very sad that this happens to our young people. And then having their second marriage is a second opportunity, which they usually are very good at availing, and they're very good at using their experience that they've had in the past in order to make sure that the second marriage is a good one, and they know all the issues that they had previously, and they work hard at not letting those things come in their way again. Now, before we move on to the more mature people, I think it would be a good idea um, if we can have an idea as to how to approach the conversations with the parents for these young people when we are looking to find second partners for them.
Yes, Mr. Shanaz, that's you elaborated really, really well that different scenarios into the second marriages. So, as per my perspective, I will say that in the second marriages, first when the first marriages is might be it is just imposed onto the children. There would be no say from them. They are just being told that this is the good proposal according to the parents. The children will never met. They have a totally different personalities, and that's the personality. They try to live with each other, but it is not compatibility issues. They will not live with each other, and and because of that, because they both boy and girl are really young at that time, they separated because they does not know how to take time to be the person the other person want, because they are so the young people most of the time so much self-absorbed, and they find it difficult to adjust according to the other person if they are too opposite. In that process, we can say that if a one person come in a really big family, they want to meet and go around, and the other person is raised by a single, like one child, and that person does not know how to be too much in a noisy place or mingle in and too much active lifestyle. They don't like it. They want a calm place. And these kind of issues, different, like perspectives will come in that. That might be the reason of the separation, because there is a every day one conflict is basically begin a really biggest conflict in a 6 month, where they both of the family don't want to live. And then, as the sister Shina said, that is the parental grudges. The parents think that we want to do this, and they think that it's gonna make a good relation, build a good relationship with my brother, with my sister, or the this is my best friend. We always think that we marry our children with each other. It does not happen like that. But in that situation, they said, I break up with that, I have a conflict, so you come back. home, and we are breaking up this relationship because that is not built up onto the children's choice. It built up onto the business. Otherwise, either it is the financial, they are the business partners, they conflict, either they are the friendships, they are broken. Various reasons happens, the life happens in the relationships, and they break up, and the children are going to pay the price. And then they might be in a situation where a girl or boy raised here, the child they get the young person they get married is from the other countries, and they don't know the norms of this place, and they just pick up onto the small things which is normalized here but that are not normalized the people coming from abroad. And that kind of relationship is also become a really conflicting place, and there is a everyday chit chat is become everyday conflict, and the fighting and the shouting and all the other aspects of the relationship breaking up. In that situation, if you get separated, I will say that when our relationship is broken, there is a there is a scars in the life. As a talking therapist, I will say when you break up, when you come out of the relationship, do go some relationship course, do get some therapy, and just work on to that scars and that grief and loss you are facing, both parties, like boy or girl. You just get talk through it and take out of your system. Because if you don't talk through it, if you don't take out of the system, that old scars will come in front of you, become your trigger in any relationship where you are, because you feel you are being betrayed in some position. Either is that betrayal from the parents, that this has happened to you because of them, it is, or the any other reason, this is something got bigger in the later in the life, so deal with it before starting a new relationship. And when you are starting a new relationship, rather than parents are asking why it is broken, the children or adults, young adults, ask each other what you are missing in that relationship, because that is the key. And do talk about that what they are missing in that relationship, because that's what they are seeking. And if you are able to give that, then go into the next relationship, rather than just thinking this is again the same scenario: good looks, good job, good society, culturally positioning, and you want to be just get married. Don't do that the same mistake which you do the first time. That is my point of view. Yeah, what do you think,
Um,
Sushana?
Yes, definitely. I think a lot of the time, especially when I was growing up, we did get married because it was the thing to do and it would be fun and you'd have lots of clothes and people would come to your wedding and, it was just the hype around the wedding. But
Yeah.
now I think people are a bit more aware. They do make their choices wisely. Now, one of the things that we missed out on is second marriage for a widow. Now, a divorcee and a widow are usually two people with exactly the same circumstances, where the husband, the breadwinner, has is removed from the situation, i.e., either by death or by divorce. Now, the one by death is the widow. She will have everyone's sympathies. She will obviously, it'll be a whole Qadar Allah, poor thing, Masoom, this, that. So they will all have this, they will all feel for her loss. And of course, it is a big loss. And they will all be there for her. She will get looked after for quite some time. And it's all Qadar Allah. Not realizing that the divorcee, that is also Qadar Allah. She didn't do that herself. You can't write your Qadar yourself. You don't write in your book of records that I want to get divorced or I will get divorced. It was Qadar Allah. It was written in your book of records. But the situation is totally different from the community because where everybody's sympathies lie with the young lady that's been widowed, but the young lady that's been divorced, everyone has an opinion. Everyone speaks about how, oh well, you could see that she was never going to do anything good. Oh well, yeah, this, that. They'll all have an opinion on it, not realizing that her loss is also a huge loss. She has children, they need to grow up, they've lost their father, she's lost a breadwinner, she's got to be the man and the woman in one now, moving forward. And of course, the one that's lost it through death, all those scenarios apply to her as well. But she still has the support of the community, whereas the one that's got divorced, she does not have the support of the community. Now, when we are looking for second marriages for young ladies that have been widowed, it's a very sad situation that sometimes if she's living with the in-laws, they will discourage her from getting married. And also because he's passed away, he was the best husband ever. Of course, there's no such thing as the best husband ever. But because he is now dead, he is the best. He was the best thing ever. And I'm never going to find anybody like him. And I don't want another person's name associated with my name. So they will feed this into her brain. You don't want to be associated with anybody else. He was the best. अगर तुम्हारी किस्मत अच्छी होती तो यही ना फोत होता. So they will brainwash her into thinking she doesn't need to get married. Oh, look, this house is going to go to you. It's probably the father-in-law's house, but they're telling her it's going to go to her. Oh, you just bring your children up. And those children are probably 2 years old or 4 years old or something. So they are brainwashing her into thinking that you don't need to get married again. You just need to sit here and serve us. And that's a very, very sad situation. But you do have some nice in-laws who will say, look, my daughter-in-law needs to get married. It didn't. My son passed away. Let's find somebody for her. So that's fantastic. And finding somebody for a widow is as hard as finding somebody for a divorcee. But with the widow, people always have that compassion note, compassion card. Oh, Jalo. So it's slightly easier. Now, and of course, if the widow's parents are looking, then and they usually should, because I don't agree with people saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter. You've had your luck. You've had your bash at it. What do you need to get married again for?" And especially if they're in their 20s, if they're in their 30s, and we know quite a few widows who are in that age. And initially, when the loss takes place, when the death takes place, everyone is rallying around and everyone is there for you. But as time goes past, people stop coming, people have their own things to do, and you are left on your own. And as a young woman, you're still, you need company. You want to be wined and dined, so to speak, and you need that relationship. Whereas you might have brothers, you might have sisters, you might have parents, all those relationships are still there, but this is a different type of relationship. So always, if my advice would be, if somebody's been widowed or divorced at a young age, then do find somebody for yourself, because you don't want to spend the rest of your life on your own. Now, moving on to second marriages for more mature people. More mature people, we mean people in their late 40s and 50s and so on. So when you're that age, you've obviously had a marriage before, you've worked a majority of your life, you're well established. Even if it's a woman, she'll be well established, she'll have her own home, she'll probably have a job, she'll be well to do with, she will have her own children. They will probably be teenagers who are looking to move forward. Now, for these women, I would suggest that they find somebody who are similar to them, someone who is in a good position, who has been married in the past, who also has children, and don't be put off by people with children, because people seem to think that those children are going to be a burden for you, or they are going to cause barriers between you and the partner. But realize that children, they are a special gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't knock children. You can't say bad things about, oh, just because somebody's got children, you don't want to get married to them. So these children, they're going to become adults. They've got their own life. They've got their own qadr written for them. They're not going to have your risk. What's written for you is written for you. So don't seem to think that, oh, they've got children, so I'm not interested. Still pursue the matter and see, if it's something that is good for you, besides that element of, oh, they've got children and I'm not interested. Now, if there are children on both sides, on his side and on her side, then obviously you will need to think about the living arrangements as well. If he's got two or three children who are living with him, and you've got two or three children who are living with you, most houses in this country are not big enough to accommodate everybody. So maybe, just maybe, you could possibly have be in that marriage and not live together. So that is a option. And a lot of people seem to think, oh, well, why would you want to be married if you're not living together? You want to be married because it's a halal relationship. Because with us Muslims, to have that relationship, you have to be in nikah. You can't just be friends with somebody. Whereas if you were members of the other communities or other religions, then that might suit you and that may be fine. But for us, we have to be in that nikah. So that is a possibility. So don't, just think, though, just don't have tunnel vision and think how we always have thought. We need to start thinking outside the box now because we are living in different ages and we have to take account of all situations. So if perhaps maybe for the first couple of years you can't live together, but you can still be a family. You can still go out as a family. You can still go to weddings together. You can still go to eat together, and you're within the halal confinements. Whereas if you did that thinking, oh, well, we won't get married for a couple of years, but we'll still roam around together, then that would come under haram involvements. So totally against that. But if his children are living with someone else, and well, if his children are living with his previous partner, then you may be happy to live together. You may be happy to live together. But again, we need to think about we're living together, but does this mean that he's just going to move in with you and let you be the breadwinner, the person who pays the bills, and so on? So have a think about how situations will be then. Because if someone's coming to live with you, you've already got a running household. So you're not going to say, I'm going to stop here and you need to pay my bills. So you need to have that conversation. Who is going to pay for what? It might be that he puts his house on rent, you put yours on rent, you both have these incomes coming in, and then you get a mutual house somewhere and then spend on that. With second, more mature marriages, you've got to remember that people's habits are going to be very, very different because he's lived a full life. You've lived a full life. You've developed your habits. You've become who you are. And he's done the same as well. And no one is right or wrong. But let's say, for instance, you like your sink to be clean and he leaves a cup in there. That's going to be very annoying for a woman, or for a man if it's done the other way around, or if you make the bed immediately as soon as you get up and he makes it after he's had his shower and come back and got changed. So it's these little niggly things that we have to also remember, that those people, they've done, this is how they live. Their rules and regulations are different. What they're bringing to the table is different. So you've got to remember, more mature people, their habits are quite hard to break as well. And these are very small habits that I've mentioned, but there could be bigger habits. Like, for instance, sometimes women like to go out with their female friends. Is that going to be acceptable to him? And if it's not, then are you prepared to change? Or the other way around, if he's going on a boys' holiday every year, a couple of weeks in Mallorca, or Morocco or something, are you going to be happy with that? And if you're not, then is it worth pursuing it? So people are set in their ways, especially in your 50s, you are set in your ways, you're solvent, you're happy, you're doing things, and you're not going to change. You're not going to change for the next person. If you're both young and you get married, you will take each other's habits. You will become warm to his habits and he will become warm to your habits, and it will become the family habits. Whereas when you get married later in age, you're already a developed person and no one is gonna make you change your habits. So it's really, you need to think about, is the woman that you're marrying, is she going off on a holiday with her female friends? And if she is, that's something that she has always done. Not to say that there's any wrong or right about it, but how are you feeling about that? So there's lots of things that you need to think about. And with their Eids and so on, if they're spending it with all their family, that's what they've been doing all their lives. How are you spending? And you're on your own, then do you go to your family as well, or do you go to her families? So it's lots of little things which are very simple, very normal, very day to day, but we need to think about these things because they can make or break a deal as well. Let's have the psychological side of this then.
Exactly. You put up, you touch every point, and I will say that, when you are mature in a life, you have set lifestyle and the choices, and that is the point. The few things you have to be really, really being aware and careful about that. First of all, the finances. You must talk about the finances. Who is going to do what, and what is your living style is. Then you must talk about your boundaries. What are your non-negotiables? What you can't change for anyone, and what you are ready to change when while you're accepting other person into it. Third thing is that in mature marriages and weddings, you must think about the prenup, because that is the most common thing is going on now. You want to give your property to your children. He wants to The other person want to give their property to their children in case there are the children. Or you can talk about that, this is how we are going to divide, have the will. Money matters. Discussing in mature marriage is very important. And then that as Sister Shina said that, you have living a lifestyle, you want to have the solo holidays for so long because you might be single from last 10 or 15 years or so, or whatever the number of the years. But you have your own way of living, and what you want to do in your free time is your hobbies and the things. How much the other person want to be engaged into that, or are you okay to still keep doing them separately? Think it in a way. I once said to someone that, the marriage is in a after certain age. Either you are in the same marriage for a long time, or either you're getting married again. It's a corporate marriage. What does I mean the corporate marriage? You go to the McDonald's and they have a deal with the Coca-Cola that the Coca-Cola will be sold with the McDonald's, but they have their own separate brand value as well. So as a person, you are a whole person with the choices. You can be go join things together, do things together, you discuss co-living with together. There is a less need of expectations, because it's the companionship. You do things together, you do things separately. You just need to discuss this before getting married with yourself, with your children, and about your boundaries, what you can, where you can adjust, where you cannot adjust. That's what it is. And if you're being getting married the second time or third time, whatever the time is that you lived a life, there are some triggers, there are some scars from your past experiences. Do talk with some therapist or some coach where you can figure out who you are, redefine yourself, and know how to manage your own anxiety issues, anger issues, or triggers before getting into the new relationship. That would be the final words from me. What do
Fantastic.
you think about sisters?
And my final words are there's a lot of good people out there. So if you are looking to get married later on in life, then there's no reason why you shouldn't. I know we've had this culture where people have decided, oh, I've been married once, I've got children, I'm not going to do it again. Do it again. If you feel that you need to do it again, and then go ahead, do it again. But make your choices wisely. Have a think. Don't just fall into a trap. We didn't actually touch up on people that will trap women who are well to do with, and most women are well to do with, alhamdulillah. That can be, we can discuss that another time, or you can get in touch with us personally if you would like to know about that and sort of like get some information. Jazakallah, my final words.
Yeah. Do discuss with any of us what kind of thoughts you are, because maybe you are not able to talk with your friends, maybe you are not able to talk some your relatives or your children, because there are some things you don't have talked to anyone yet. They are still in your mind. Do discuss before taking the big decision, because it's important for you and for your happiness. Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Jazakallah. Khuda Hafiz.